Let's do this. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Hello, David. Big win on a Saturday night.
Yes, Kurt, when that game was in the second period and they tied it up 2-2, what did you think was going to be the end result in that moment?
Well, I wasn't foreshadowing this end result, I'll tell you that. It was like, oh, this isn't headed in a positive direction. But to a few players' credit in particular, they were able to rescue this one and gain two really critical points on the road against a really good hockey team. So that's a pretty important result.
So this is it the fourth point of the road trip? Yeah,
Yep.
the fourth point of the 3-game road trip. Excuse me, it's
Of
4
the
points in
7-game
3
road trip.
games in the 7-game road trip, and we were going in talking, hoping for 7 points in 7 games. Like that would be
Yep.
success.
Yep.
So far,
Toughest
so
road trip
good.
of the year. So yeah, absolutely. So far they're on track.
That was a huge win. 4-3 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. The grade A shots are interesting in this one.
I'm looking forward to this.
Carolina had 17 and the Oilers had 13.
Hmm.
But in terms of the very most dangerous shots, it was 7-6 for the Oilers.
Hmm.
So very, very close on the really, really dangerous shots. But I think Carolina had overall shot quality edge, and they really gave the Oilers a severe test.
Yeah, and a hallmark of Rob Brind'Amour teams, right? They're a volume shooting team like the Kings used to be. So there is a lot of rubber fired at the net.
They made some good shots.
Mm-hmm.
They made some really good shots. Okay, Kurt, 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers. What is your good thing?
Well, don't look now, but Stuart Skinner has had 3 good games in a row. So all you Stuart Skinner haters, you can back off the ledge. For the time being, we appear to be okay. Stuart Skinner tonight emerged from that game with a .917 save percentage. Really, they don't get both points or maybe even one without him, because the second period, after a good start by the Oilers, the Carolina Hurricanes, they owned the back 15 minutes of the first period, and they utterly dominated the Oilers in the second frame. The shots were 16-6, and a couple of those Oilers shots came toward the end of the second period. At one point, halfway through the period, the Oilers only had 1 shot on net. But what Stuart Skinner does is what you need your number 1 goaltender to do. Give your team a puncher's chance. And he held them in there in the second period. Some terrific saves. Most of it, what I found, was real solid positioning by Skinner. And I think that's the key to this guy. I'm no goaltender expert, but to me, when Skinner is quiet in his net and uses his size to an advantage, he's a really good, above average NHL goaltender. It's when he starts to swim in the crease and starts to lose his post, that's when he gets into trouble. Tonight, he looked control and confident for most of the night, and he helped that team emerge from the second period with a 2-2 tie. It probably should have been 4-2 Carolina after 2. But I really thought Skinner stepped up and was huge. Yeah, 3 games in a row for the kid from Edmonton. And it doesn't end the goaltending controversy in oil country, but it surely feels better having the guy that's supposed to be your number 1 playing like your number 1.
He was really good. I gave him an 8 for having a great game.
Yeah, good call.
He did lose his net. It was a tough play, a bit, but he did kind of lose it on the second Carolina goal. Yeah.
2-2, but there was a plethora of mistakes in front of him, right?
There was a ton of mistakes. It was a crap show.
It was a gong show.
But he made a great. Aho broke in the first period on a little break-in, and he stopped that. In the second period, he made it like there was a number of grade A shots, like 3 in a row, 3 tough shots, and he got them. Then in the third, there was a really wicked tip shot from the point from Blake that he got, and finally he made a huge stop on Svechnikov. There was a number of seam passes and shots too, Kurt, and aside from the first goal, he got all of those. So he did look good, and I agree with you. Like, I don't know if it's a function of the team. Like the team was again leaky and porous on defense, so like it was just a really good performance by the goalie. Like he saved the team.
Yeah, when this team is going, it's going to score enough that if you limit the other guys to 2 or 3 goals, you're going to win most of the time. Right, and this is a team where you don't need a shutout every night with all the offense that the Oilers should be able to create when they're fully staffed and up to speed. Tonight's the kind of game I would expect and hope from Stuart Skinner, and you keep getting this from him, you're in pretty decent shape.
Kurt, my good thing is Zach Hyman's return, and man, did the Oilers ever miss Zach Hyman? And you just forget what I'd kind of forgotten. Like, I mean, I haven't forgotten the playoffs. It's just like he was fantastic in the playoffs, and he brought that playoff game here. He had 11 hits. Now, in the regular season last year, Hyman didn't hit that much, right? He saved it for the playoffs, but I think he had some pent up
Yeah.
anger, fury. And right from
He
the
was a
first
wrecking machine out there.
right from the first shift, he set a nice pick so McDavid could go in and get a grade A shot. And then he made a play, Kurt, that I don't know how many times I haven't seen this year. McDavid gets his grade A shot, and Hyman goes in there. The goalie's trapped the puck with his blocker on the ice, and Hyman goes in there and rams his stick right into the goalie's hand on the ice. And it was like, oh yeah, that's what aggressive hockey teams do.
Score at any cost, right?
They get in there and like that play's been missing from the Oilers. That's a Corey Perry play, and an Evander Kane play, and a Zach Hyman play. And
It's
they're
a
missing
swagger
all
play, right?
three of those guys. Yeah, where you go in there and you give that goalie hell, and it's borderline, right? It's a borderline play because you're hacking the goalie's hand when he's got the puck covered. But it was that moment. It's like, oh, the Hyman's back, the Oilers are back. He then later in the period he hits his Team Canada rival Seth Jarvis.
Yeah.
Really hard hits.
Same shift, yeah.
And he blasted that big. There's a big Russian defenseman who's a really hard hitter on Carolina, Nikishin, and he hit him with a good hit too. He won a race and put in the second period. He again, something we hadn't seen a lot. Our Oilers win a race to the puck in the other team zone, and then he made a really sneaky pass to McDavid in the slot, and McDavid couldn't score. On the goal, the third goal, Bouchard made a great play. I mean, Bouchard didn't have a great game. There was a number of mistakes, but he was great on this play. And he whipped it up to Hyman on the rush. And Hyman did a good job of controlling the puck protecting, and putting it over to Leon Draisaitl, who whipped it over to McDavid to score an absolutely gorgeous goal.
Yeah, beautiful, perfect pass, man. Like, just, you and I could have scored that one.
Another, I don't know if I could have, Kurt.
Oh, sure. Come on. Staples the sniper, I'll bet you could have.
No, I might have been able to, I can make the odd stretch pass, but no, I'm not going to be making a high skill play around the opposition net. He in the third period, there was a scrambly moment around the Carolina net, and late in the third, and he set up McDavid in the slot again, and that's when McDavid got that great shot that beat Anderson and kind of landed on the goal line and didn't go in. And finally, he got his own great A shot on a 3-on-2. One of the few good plays from Andrew Mangiapane that game. He made a nice pass, and Hyman slammed it on net. So he was in on 6 grade A shots, and he made a mistake on just one against. He made it. He was in on the power play goal. He harassed the goalie a little bit there.
Yep.
So it was the hitting and the hustle and the hard plays. Man, this is a team that has been so lacking in hard plays, and he brought it tonight.
My 2 takeaways from Zach Hyman tonight were twofold. One, he didn't take a shift or a stride where he looked like he was coming back from a long-term injury. Like, not once. He just dove right in head first. Like, often when players come back, they're a little bit tentative to start, and you can kind of understand that. Not him. He dove in head first. My other takeaway, and I think it's a broader point, but I think it's the most important one. When Zach Hyman is in this lineup, he changes the personality of the team.
He does. And I agree with both those things, Kurt. Yeah, he just looked like and what a relief. You know,
Mm.
and it's one game, right? Like, and a lot can be done on adrenaline. So I'm hoping the hand is really there in terms of shooting and scoring, and we still don't know that, right? Till we see him start to make some of the shots he made in the past. But it looked like he was the same old Zach Hyman. He didn't look like he'd missed a beat. So
Yeah, I imagine the shot will probably be the last thing to come around, but clearly he put in the work and came back in terrific condition. I mean, there's no way it looked like this guy hadn't played since May. And I mean, he played 23-10. Like, and before the game, some of the commentators, and I understand the commentary, some of the commentators were going, oh, you might want to slow march him into this game and just, just maybe spot him off a little bit. Nah, let's play him like it's the middle of the season and he's just fine. So what a performance! How this team has missed that guy.
I wonder if he'll make Team Canada. If you're
Well,
watching
if
that game, you'd think, yeah, we need that energy on our team in a
Well,
big
one of the
game.
guys he's probably competing for a spot for is Seth Jarvis, and it's pretty hard to
Correct.
argue that he didn't outplay him tonight. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch Jarvis that closely, and he is a good hockey player.
he
I
is.
thought he acquitted himself okay
Yeah.
in the world, whatever it was called. What was that
He,
thing called?
he was a useful player, and I think if Hyman makes Team Canada, that's what he'll be too, right? He'll be a role player who'll kill penalties, an energy guy. But if you just base it on a small sample of tonight, I'm taking Zach Hyman.
Watch, he'll beat out Connor Bedard, and everyone will lose their minds. You know it, Kurt. That
Yeah,
would happen. Everyone would lose
it,
their minds. But you could see why a coach might do that.
he's a
Well,
winner, right? Yeah.
well, and he's big and he hits and he makes a huge impact and
Yeah,
he can
he
make
can play
plays
in
with
all
McDavid.
situations.
Yeah,
There's lots of reasons if he's healthy and productive. Yeah.
they never did find wingers that worked very well with McDavid last.
Nope.
What was that tournament called? The Four Nations? Is that what it was? Four
Yeah.
Nations?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. The only time a winger really worked with Connor is that one pass from
Mitch
Mitch
Marner.
Marner, the one that counted, right?
Yeah, that was a nice pass. That was a very nice
Was.
pass.
Yeah. Good timing.
All right, Kurt. Your bad thing.
My bad thing. I could pick out various points on the game sheet tonight and pick out individual players. I'm not going to do that though because one of the benefits of watching a game and not doing game grades is you get to, and I know you understand this, you get to watch the game with a broader scope and you just see it with a slightly different perspective. I almost felt like I was sitting up in the press box tonight, which I did for many years when I covered professional hockey for my job, and I really watched tonight because we all know the defensive issues and the turnover issues that the Oilers have been having.
Right.
And what I'm about to say, I don't mean to come across like I'm absolving of the Edmonton Oilers defensemen of their sins because I'm not. They're absolutely making mistakes, and we saw it tonight from a number of players. You already mentioned Wallman, Regula had a rough night, etc. Um, but when you really watch the structure of the Oilers, when they're coming out of their own zone, and it was easier to spot tonight because they're playing a hard forechecking team and a really fast team like the Carolina Hurricanes. So you already have, as a defenseman, going back on a retrieval or going up the wall with the puck under control, you already have precious few seconds to make up your mind about where that puck's going. But if you watch these outlet passes and these attempts to clear the zone, what you're seeing is the gap between all three forwards and the defenseman is way too wide. Count how many 5-foot passes Oilers defenders made tonight or even had at the avail, right? Most times when that defenseman has the puck on the stick and he looks up, all three forwards are already past the defending blue line. In many cases, they're up and past the red line. So it's one stretch pass after another. And I get it. The Oilers should be a team that's very effective up the middle. I get that. But when you're playing a hard forechecking team like Carolina, you're not always going to have the opportunity to get yourself in the proper position, get your head up and make that pass. And when there's no support swinging back to help you out, you have no choice but to either put one up the middle or put one off the glass. Instead of short 5 foot pass, another 5 foot pass, boom, you're safely out of your zone. I really think there's a connectivity problem here right now. What I don't know, because I'm not in the dressing rooms, I don't know if this is a systems mistake. Whether Chris Knobloch has his team playing this way and it's just the wrong way to go, or if that's not his system at all and his forwards simply aren't executing. And again, I don't mean to absolve the defensemen of their sins. We all can see the turnovers. But if you're under pressure in your own zone and you don't have any short pass options, well, then what are you going to do? You're going to throw it up the middle where a team like Carolina is just waiting for it and turn it in the other direction, like we saw in spades against Colorado a week ago tonight. So that's my observation of a bad thing. Even though the Oilers won tonight, I still saw that happening over and over and over again. And until one or more of those forwards are swinging deeper, giving those defensemen support and giving them that 5 foot pass option, I think their turnover issues are going to continue.
Whatever happened to low and slow, for the center to get that pass?
Yeah.
I guess it was okay for the first 100+ years of the NHL history, but the Oilers are just said, no, we don't need that. And the problem is, Kurt, when they do turn it over, then it's a 3-on-2. There's again and again and again. If you have that low man and he's playing cautious, if he's working with the defense, maybe covering for the defense, if there's a turnover there, then you have 3 guys back. But there's been all kinds of these kind of jailbreak goals starting in center ice out of nothing, just out of a turnover. And case in point, the first goal for Carolina tonight. Wallman has the puck in his own zone. He puts it up the boards. He doesn't hit the player with the pass. But Frederick, who is the last man back, who is F3, who should be working with them, he's up too far.
Yep.
He's up the ice too far.
And the other two guys are gone. And then it's so that now it's an odd man rush and Frederick's not back in time and there's a pass across the ice. And I think the guy, if I'm not mistaken, he hits the post. So it's 35 seconds after Wallman's turnover that they score. And my bad thing is this goal. And so Frederick not only allows the pass on the initial grade A shot, as the puck's moving around the Oilers zone, Henrique goes to make a play on the boards and he fails to cut out the cross seam pass, but Frederick's too high up on the play. Like in the zone, if you get above the puck in the zone, you're in trouble because then it's a 3-on-2 down low. And then there's 2 quick succession cross seam passes and a goal. And Frederick, if he had just been lower on his side instead of wandering up towards the defenseman, there's no goal. He only played 7:08
in the game. He hardly played in the second period. Let me just see here.
Or the third. Even less than the third.
Yeah, he had 2 shifts in the third. So, my thought, having watched that performance from him again, he had 0 hits compared to Zach Hyman's. He's got no motor, Kurt. Like if he's a hit, if he's supposed to be someone who hits, like guys who hit like Hyman and Podkolzin, they've got a motor. They're going. Does he ever go? And he's really struggling. I think he needs to be in the press box for a game, honestly, and send him. It's time for that kind of message because he's had maybe 2 or 3 good games really on like all year long since he became an Oiler. There was the obvious excuse of injuries last year. Maybe there's an ongoing issue with injury. I don't know, but it's not happening, and it's costing the team. And I don't know what you do to get him to play better.
I do wonder if part of this is an injury issue, and that feels like I'm making excuses for the guy. I'm not. I'm seeing the same mistakes and failures that you are. So we see the player the same way. When you watch him move, he's got good straightaway speed, but that's it. He slows down noticeably when he's turning and when he's in tight. And if it's that high ankle sprain that still hasn't fully come around, and those things they take a while, right? Sometimes it can be half a season before you're all the way back. He doesn't he doesn't move well if he's not going in a straight line. So maybe injury is part of it. What I do know is that coaches, when wins become more important, which is as the season goes along, like it is now, we're 20 games deep now, the coach is going to start to rely on guys who he knows that he can count on. And we didn't see much of Frederick in the third period. And I think that's a tell. I think Chris Knobloch is smart enough to and use his eyes and say, boy, Trent Frederick isn't giving us what we need. Forget the old, hit and be a pain in the ass sort of thing. He's not playing well defensively. But I noted late in that game, Adam Henrique, Matthias Janmark, and Curtis Lazar were being trusted with important shifts, D-zone draws. And that's because those are veteran guys who, they're not mistake-free. They'll make mistakes. But by and large, you know what to expect from those guys, particularly in those tough situations. And if Trent Frederick can't deliver in those situations, Chris Knobloch's going to put Curtis Lazar out there, and who can blame him?
Yeah, he's at this point the 9th or 10th best winger on the Oilers.
Yeah,
and
agree.
It's a tough spot. I mean, he just signed this huge contract, so the team has a big commitment. They have to think about it hard. What's going on with him? And so, first of all, if it is injury, and I don't rule that out either. It looks, I think that's a really plausible explanation because his agility doesn't seem to be there. Like
Agree.
he's losing puck battles. He's a great big guy, and it just seems he's kind of awkward on his skates right now. And I don't think that's who this player is. So
maybe he just doesn't have that push off that he's used to having, right?
And maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, do you need it would be too much like to sit him down and rehab and put him on IR. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that would be a pretty drastic move.
Yeah.
But if he's not working through it, I mean, just play your best players and say, listen, until you're ready to be one of our 8 best wingers, this is the way it is. Or at least put him to the 4th line.
Well, he was their 12th best forward tonight.
Yeah, and he got the least amount of ice time because of it. So Knobloch clearly recognized, he sees what we saw, Kurt. He just told us that with the ice time the poor player got. I mean, he is taking a ton of criticism from Oilers fans right now. I don't see anyone in the Frederick camp, and this is because we saw it in the playoffs. And then, okay, well, we trust the scouts of the Oilers that that's not the real Trent Frederick, and that the 8-year deal is based on something that they see as tangible and real in this player. He's just injured, and when he gets over his injury, he's going to be a really good player. But it's not there. Yeah.
Well, and look, David, it's not like I pretend to have been the scout who was trailing Trent Frederick around the NHL, but I did see him play a little bit, and this ain't that guy.
Yeah, that's I don't remember him like this. I remember him being kind of nasty and imposing himself on the game.
Yeah.
Against the Oilers now and then. And you'd notice him, right?
Yeah.
You would notice him.
And it's man, I hate playing against that guy. Right? And I thought maybe that scrap, I give him high marks for taking that scrap, man. That takes guts to do that. And I thought, okay, now here you go. That'll be your jumping off point, and it'll be up from here. But frankly, he's been worse since then.
It does take, obviously these guys have a tremendous amount of courage to play hockey at that level. There are no cowards in ice hockey, as Soviet coach Anatoly Tarasov used to say. And he was coaching what Canadians considered a famously soft team, but no, they weren't. The Russians were not a soft team. And it's a game for tough guys. And Frederick is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really struggling. Okay, Kurt, your number.
My number is 10. This was the 10th game in 20 starts this season where the Oilers have had a multi-goal lead in the game and blown it. So half the games they've played this season, they've had a lead of 2 or more and have surrendered that lead. That's hard to do. But when you think about it, Jesus. And I guess the problem is it's been the same old culprit, and I don't mean the same person. I think the Oilers have done a pretty good job of spreading the blame around the lineup,
Yeah.
but it's the same old plays that have been happening over and over. It's not like, oh, now this night we lost a different way. No, we lost the same way we did the night before. So now this team has enough firepower that they can claw back. But what you're doing when you're blowing leads and having to scrap your way back again is you're burning gas that you'd sooner use in the second half, right? We've seen this from this club over and over again. They keep saying, oh, it's a long season. It's a long season. We got to kind of conserve our energy. Well, how much energy are you conserving if you're if you're blowing these leads and having to scrap like mad to salvage points? It's something's got to give, man.
You're so right, Kurt, that it's the same way. And it was tonight. Alec Regula, come on down.
Ooh. Who's a fine young player, and I'll have patience for him because I like a lot about his game. But those two mistakes tonight were like 5-alarm red flashing light mistakes.
They were tough ones. I actually hope he stays in, because I think I see just the makings of what looks like a really good hockey player. Like,
yes,
he makes some impressive, and he did tonight as well. Some really good heads up defensive plays and passing plays. But
and you know what, David? Yeah, he did. And the easy thing would be for Chris Knobloch to put Ty Emberson in the next game.
I hope he doesn't.
But from a confidence standpoint, I think you should run Regula back out there.
I agree. The last goal, where he got beat around the corner by the forward, it was a tough one because he goes for the puck and he misses it. And when he misses the puck, he's off balance then, right? And he can't get leverage on that forward coming around on him and
take a penalty.
Yeah,
in that case, pull him down, man.
Kurt Leavins, old defenseman, speaking up there.
Yep.
Grab him. And the other thing is, on that, Roslovic got back, and he actually checked the guy who got around Regula, but it went right off Roslovic's check to Jordan Staal, who put it in there. It was bad luck play because Roslovic caught him, but put it right to the shooter.
Yeah. Sometimes I can tell you, it's just haul him down, man. Live to see another day. Done that more than a few times.
Yeah. As I play with some very cagey veteran defensemen in old timers hockey, and one of them's favorite sayings is, "The only thing better than 2 hands on a stick is 3 hands on a stick."
I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't think Tom listens to this, but he is a force at age 78 on the ice still, man, and you cannot get around him. You will find out the hard way.
I played with an old D-man once who said, "You may get around me, but you'll be on my ass by the time you get there."
All right. My number is Leon Draisaitl's face-offs tonight, 16 for 6. And I'm often criticizing Leon's defensive miscues, but
not you.
A face-off is one battle. It's a battle. It's one of many battles in a game. There's 200, 300, 400 battles, whatever it is, 500 battles in a hockey game, individual battles. It's one of them, and to win 16 out of 22, that's hardcore hockey. That's a tough. The face-off is a tough physical play, and he can impose himself on the game in this manner, and he does so regularly. And I don't maybe give him enough credit for it. You were pointing out earlier, Kurt, about the Oilers overall being pretty good, and they do have. This is really important. They have at least 3 guys now who it looks like they can send out at the end of the game to win a face-off. So there's Draisaitl, there's Henrique. Draisaitl's at 55.4% before this game.
Yep.
Henrique was he's at 59.7%.
He's their best
this
man,
game,
right? Yep.
And the really good news: a right shot option. Noah Philp, 58.9%. And this was supposed to be a problem. This isn't a problem. This is something that could keep Noah Philp in the NHL as a 4th-line center. Because if he can kill penalties, and he's still working on that, he's still mastering that. But if he can kill penalties, and if he can win face-offs, and he creates on the attack, and he's willing to hit, and can make the odd play, and I think he can do all these things, he can hang in there as a 4th-line center who will help the Edmonton Oilers.
And the other thing is when you have three centers who are over 50% of the dot, it gives your defense more options as well. So suddenly when you've got three guys who can win a draw for you, it's not the end of the world if at the end of a shift and you've been out there for almost 2 minutes like Darnell Nurse was tonight, ice the damn puck. Like really, Um, take that chance that your guy can win the draw and you can get a couple swallops of oxygen and get going again. You don't want to do it all the time, but every so often, it's trust me, it's like okay. There's another old saying, and it's an old radio saying, but it applies here. It's time the circus left town. it's, and it's sometimes it's when a shift is going so bad, and in your mind as a player, it's like this is only going to get worse. Just sling it down the ice and start again.
I'm a great believer in icing the puck, and I ice the puck when I get tired, and I get tired about after 10 seconds on the ice. So there's quite a lot of icings when I'm out there. All right. Let's see here. Kurt, I just wanted to talk briefly. We've finished the formal part of the program. But I wanted to ask you about the bottom pairing defenseman. We kind of touched it already about where they should go. I think we're both in agreement. They should probably go back to Regula in the next game as a confidence move because he has been playing well. These were two, like the one was a tough mistake. Again, if there had been a forward back after he put it off the boards, it might have helped. Mm-hmm. And then he got beat on the rush. That happens to all these defensemen. We've seen it with every single one of them.
We have.
But so what did you think of them losing Stetcher? And are you concerned about now defensive depth at all?
Yeah. Hey, it's a fair question. What I want to say about Troy Stetcher is he gave you all he got. He was a real battler, never took a shift off. I really respected how he played the game. But the cold, hard facts are he was their number 8 at this point. Mm-hmm. When he was in the season, he didn't play well.
No.
And while I hate losing a battler like that on waivers for nothing, clearly there were no takers out there because they were trying to move him. I can tell you for a fact they were trying to move him and couldn't.
Well, look at all the rumors that were floated. Like Friedman put it out there like 3 weeks ago, right? They're trying to trade Troy Stetcher. How does that rumor get out there?
Yeah,
I don't know at the end of the Bowman necessarily,
but at the end of the day, not only was he their number 8, but I think you're going to keep Ty Emberson and Alec Regula because they're younger defensemen who you don't know what their best is going to look like yet. Mm-hmm. Stetcher, you do. Right? Yeah. He's never going to get any better, and he's not as good as he used to be, right? Emberson and Regula, you don't know. They could turn into top 4 guys. Right now, Regula, notwithstanding the couple of mistakes tonight, looks like he could be a real find. I think if you're managing assets in an organization, you can't be throwing away young defensemen like that. I mean, everybody's already all over them for letting Broberg go. So, I mean, you can't let these two guys go. The last thing I want to say is I'm glad for Troy Stetcher that he got claimed. Well, I would have liked from an organizational standpoint to have him in Bakersfield and have him available. For a good pro like Troy Stetcher, I'd sooner he have a chance to play somewhere else. If I were in his position, that's certainly what I would want.
Yeah, I second everything you said. You nailed it on your commentary. I think that you had to obviously keep Alec Regula. Like just the potential is exciting. I think Ty Emberson, who I always often call Troy Emberson for some reason, maybe that will end now that Troy Stetcher's on another team. Ty Emberson, I see him as kind of a Matt Benning defenseman, and I think
good comparison.
That's what he's gonna be. That's what he is.
Yeah,
I've seen enough of him now. It's been
he's a 6'7", right? Which is what Matt Benning was.
Yeah. I don't know what Regula is going to be. And you always hope that one of these young guys can break in and break into your top 4, right? And it's a definite possibility. And if that were to happen, that would be huge for the Oilers because it would open up some great possibilities.
The way he can skate, his size, his wingspan, and the way he can pass the puck, I would not want to give up on that guy until I'd had a real good look at him.
It's interesting Boston did give up on him. Maybe they just had a plethora of really good defensemen. I don't know. Like I'm not an expert on the Boston D-man depth chart, but it's interesting they waived him because just seeing his toolkit and his size, you think, and then he had a really good year in the AHL.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what year that. What was the? It was the year before he got
The
waived.
previous year. Yep.
Yeah, and he tore it up in the AHL. He was probably one of the best defensemen in the entire league. So you'd
Hmm.
think, oh, but anyway, I'm glad they waived him,
Yep.
and I don't see the Oilers waiving him.
Yeah, and Troy Stetcher at this point, you can go out and get another veteran NHL defenseman at the minimum who's going to be about as good as Troy Stetcher. I get he was a great teammate and a great guy, and that matters. But at the end of the day, if you have to choose between those three guys, I think Stan Bowman made the right call.
And he did, and it would have been actually a no-brainer, except the disparity between Emberson's and Stetcher's cap hit.
Yeah,
I think Emberson makes 1.3 million. Stetcher makes 787
yeah.
500.
But if you're looking at the longer game, which Stan should be looking at,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. All right, Kurt. I guess you're going to be away for the next couple. There's the games Monday and Wednesday, I believe, and you're
I am. I'll
away,
be at the Bell Center, but not for a Canadians game. I'll be there to see Paul McCartney, so I won't be back until Thursday of next
Oh,
week. So,
holy moly! You're going to see Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul.
Have you seen him before?
I have more times than is probably healthy, but my lovely wife has never been to Montreal, which is is a beautiful city. So we're going to go spend a couple days there and go to the concert and walk around in the snow, which we don't get out here on our part of the West Coast, and then I'll be back to the Oilers after that. So
Montreal can have beautiful days in November. I mean, I went to school in Ottawa, which has similar weather, and
Mhm.
so you can get nice days. Hopefully, you'll get that. But because Montreal can also have like unbelievably cold days because
It can.
it's
It's circling
humid,
right on
it's
the St.
humid
Lawrence,
there.
right? So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it is so cold. Like when it gets to be 10 below in Montreal, I'll take 25 below in Edmonton every time over that. So anyway, Paul McCartney, that's fantastic, Kurt. I've been on a bit of a Paul McCartney kick recently. I saw
Oh,
that Get Back. Or what was that
the,
Apple show on the Beatles, making
yeah, the
that.
Get Back documentary, that was fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little long. I mean, they could have cut it down, I thought, but it was very
If you're a
very
big
good.
Beatles fan, it was too short.
I was too short. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I've been listening to this Wing Song Junior's Farm that I hadn't really heard of before. It's
Great
a great.
cut. 1974. They recorded it in Nashville.
I feel like testing you now, Kurt, on other Beatles and Wings trivia.
I could probably answer it. I know more than as our buddy Bob Stauffer likes to say. I'm a fountain of superfluous information when it comes to the Beatles and Paul McCartney. So
Well, it's a pretty good band to choose. Kurt, thanks for talking tonight.
thanks a bunch, Dave.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.